Hello, students. Let us try to continue the chapter. So, after Dandi March, we will be highlighting the point of Gandhi Irwin Pact, Round Table Conference, and Moratorium of Satyagraha. Well, there were three round table conferences held, and let us try to understand what happened in this conference. Gandhiji was called upon by the Britishers for the round table conference to discuss the constitutional structure as well as reforms. The first roundtable conference was held, but because of the absence of Congress leaders, it was futile or meaningless. To reconcile with Congress, an agreement or pact between Gandhiji and Lord Irwin was made. It came to be known as Gandhi-Irwin Pact, which was signed in the year March 1931. In that, the permission of free collection or manufacture of salt by persons near the sea coast and also permission of peaceful picketing were the main points. In the second roundtable conference, Gandhiji was the only representative from the Congress, and Britishers had discriminating points for various religious committees, to which Gandhiji was deeply disappointed, and therefore even this conference was dissolved. Another important event which took place was Quit India movement. Now, in the second chapter, we already became familiar that Second World War was going on in this period. So, keeping in mind the World War situation, the Congress Working Committee decided to end the individual satyagraha, and that was in 1942, the month of January. The British government attempted to deceive the people of India by Cripps mission. Stratford Cripps was sent to India to discuss about the independence, and it was only to deceive the people of India. So Indians became angry and they dejected or rejected this mission's plan. Now people of India had no longer faith in the British rulers, and they very clearly assumed that the Britishers do not wish to leave India or quit India. So Gandhiji advised the people to come out of despair of the sad situation and be prepared to give a new and last fight. On 9th August 1942, the resolution of Quit India movement was passed in the Working Committee of Congress, which was held at Mumbai. Uh, Gokardas Tejpal Sanskrit Pathshala, Gowalia Tank, Mumbai. And on the second day of resolution, important leaders like Gandhiji, Vallabhbhai Patel, Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Azad, they all were arrested. Newspapers were banned. Regional and district level Congress leaders also were arrested at the same time, simultaneously. Arrest of Gandhiji and other leaders resulted in nationwide strike, and to this Gandhiji said very clearly, please underline, this is the last fight in my life, and therefore people of India should make all attempts to achieve independence. And now he gave the slogan, do or die, karo ya maro. At different places strikes took place. So let us see that where did the strikes take place. The rural and urban regions of the country, including workers, farmers, youth, students, teachers, businessmen, and women, were all in the forefront of this movement. No one was lagging behind. Workers or laborers went on strike in the factories. Iron factories in Jamshedpur and cotton mills at Madras too were on strike. Please underline 1 lakh mill workers of 75 cotton mills industries in Ahmedabad also went on peaceful strike for nearly 105 days. Also underline school, colleges and schools also observed strike for these days. And nearly for 3.5 months, markets in Ahmedabad were closed. So all the activities were stopped during this movement, mind well. Which were the harmful incidents which took place in the Quit India movement? Anger against the British government was expressed from every nook and corner of the country. Suppression against peaceful people by the Britishers now led to a violent situation. Now people were not worried that what action they will be taken by the British government, but they only wanted to take revenge. And that's why the people not only ransacked the post offices, telegram departments, police stations, stations, government buildings, schools and college buildings, railway lines, pools, bridges, and roads, but also looted the assets or properties and set on fire the government properties. In these strikes and in these activities, railway incurred very heavy losses. In many of the areas, people also used bombs. The British government failed to crush this struggle. The government tried level best to suppress this movement with hard hand. The struggle started from a small end to a large extent by ransacking government system, destroying the government properties. For this, more than 70,000 people were imprisoned. 538 gunshots were fired. 1,028 people lost their lives. 3,200 people were injured. Students were also injured in gunshots, especially in Ahmedabad and Patna. A unique political consciousness was created from the people. This movement gave clear warning to the British government and also a message to the world at large that India cannot be enslaved anymore. The Britishers will have to leave India. This struggle really signaled the people of India to British government that there is no option but to quit India. The people of India now wanted complete or full independence. And so the amendment of dominion status was almost invisible by the struggle. After a struggle of 5 years, India achieved independence. Yesterday only I tried to explain dominion status, a situation where there is no complete independence. Partial independence is granted, and all the defense and the foreign affairs department is in the hands of the British government. That was known as dominion status, now which we rejected, and we tried to have complete independence. How can we forget the role of Azad Hind Fauj or Subhash Chandra Bose in the freedom struggle of India? We will become familiar with the details of Subhash Chandra Bose and the activities of Azad Hind Fauj. Subhash Chandra Bose, born in Cuttack in Orissa state, 23rd January 1897. His father, Rai Bahadur Janakinath Bose, was a government lawyer in the British judiciary, and Mother Parvati Devi was a philanthropist. Prediction was that this Bengali lad will become sincere servant of Britishers because he was the first Indian to appear for the ICS examination and also clear it. But he went on to become a staunch freedom fighter against the British Empire. After passing examination with good marks from Calcutta's Presidency College, he went to England for further studies. He passed very difficult ICS Indian Civil Service examination at fourth number and returned back to Kolkata. Seeds of revolution were planted in his mind due to the insulting attitude and pride of the British professors at the Presidency College in Madras towards the Indians. And so he was very interested in the Indian independence struggle. He became an active member of the National Assembly. He also joined Swaraj Party in the year 1923 and soon became very popular leader among the youth. He was in the top in the civil disobedience movement and therefore he was jailed for many times. At a young age of 41, he was elected as president of the Congress convention at Haripura, Surat, and showcased his ability. He left the Congress because he had difference of opinion with Gandhiji, which had increased, and so he established a new party known as the Forward Bloc to awaken plebiscite. Plebiscite means people's wish or vote. He traveled in most of the regions of India that Britishers should leave India. He was arrested under the Indian Defence Code and also imprisoned. During imprisonment, he was very badly treated or ill treated. He was imprisoned at his place of residence as his health was deteriorating since he was fasting unto the death. Najar Keth. And he, that's why, traveled in the disguise of Pathan from Kolkata via Peshawar, Kabul, Iran, and Russia, and later on reached to Berlin. So, though he was in the house arrest, he dressed as a Pathan to cheat the Britishers and he left Kolkata and traveled via Peshawar, Kabul, Iran, and Russia and reached to Berlin, Germany. Indians living in Germany gave him a warm welcome. He urged the people of India through Berlin radio to fight against the British Empire. He also met Hitler in Germany and discussed in detail about the independence of India. Then he went to Rome and Paris to establish military unit for the independence of India and recruited or asked or made to join some nearly 3,000 Indians. Ras Bihari Bose, a revolutionary living in Japan, chained all the organizations and established Indian Independence League to make India free. Azad Hind Fauj was set up. A presence of 100 Indian delegates from Malaya, Japan, Sumatra, Java, Hong Kong, Borneo, Andaman, Burma, Brahmadesh, now known as Myanmar, were in the organization. And in that, Mohan Singh, a war prisoner arrested by Japan, was also present. Also, Ras Bihari Bose voluntarily retired as the head of INA. The establishment of Azad Hind Fauj or its working and Indian Independence League. After breaking the tight British security, Subhash Chandra Bose cleverly reached Japan from Berlin in a submarine in 1943. Ras Bihari Bose of Indian Independence League invited Subhash Chandra Bose to be the head of this league. Japan agreed to provide every kind of help for the Indian freedom. It was also promised that as Japanese army advances towards India, capturing Indian provinces, provisional government would be formed and Japan would give them recognition. So on 2nd July 1943, Subhash Chandra Bose went to Singapore from Japan and there he was elected as the president of Indian Independence League on 4th July 1943. Please underline. Moreover, Ras Bihari Bose voluntarily retired as the head of the Indian National Army, Azad Hind Fauj, and appointed Subhash Chandra Bose as the head of INA. Indians who were living there or residing there got a proper and able leader for freeing their motherland. Since then, that time onwards, Subhash Chandra Bose was nicknamed as Netaji. In his speeches on radio, he gave the slogan, please underline, Chalo Delhi, let's march to Delhi, and also underline, तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा. Give me blood and I'll give you freedom. With his skillful guidance, he formed a parallel government. He tried to convince and urge the Indians residing in Southeast Asia to sacrifice everything for the struggle of independence of India. Establishment of the provisional government by Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose formed provisional Indian government and he became the prime minister. He also allotted or divided other departments to his companions and formed also a cabinet. This government was recognized by Japan, Germany, Italy, nationalized China and Burma. This government recognized Hindi, this underline as a national language and tricolor as national flag. It was decided to have income by assisting Japan independent role and by property tax. Netaji visited Andaman and Nicobar Islands and named it as Shahid or Martyr and Swaraj or Independence. Please underline. This can be asked as a blank. Last step and martyrdom of Subhash Chandra Bose. In May 1944, under leadership of Netaji, his military units captured the areas of Rangoon, Prom, Kohima, presently the capital of Nagaland. Then they marched towards Imphal, now the capital of Manipur. But after dropping of the two atom bombs at Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan, the financial help or assistance to the provisional government stopped. And so British aircraft started warfare against Azaddin Fauj and the condition became very critical. On 18th August 1945, Subhash Chandra Bose started from Taipei airport of Formosa for Tokyo. But his plane caught fire and he got serious burns, and while undergoing treatment, he died. But the British government was fearing so much that they were not ready to believe about his death, and so the mystery of his death has remained unsolved till date.